Ooh, that was good. All right, let me get in there. Hold on.
Kickstart it.
Not quite as good, but we'll take it.
The beers are
Yeah,
open.
you didn't quite have the depth there, but that's all right.
No.
Mine was a little warmer.
It happens.
A little more resonant. It's all good. You can't choke off the can there, just same way you're drumming, man. You got to have a nice relaxed grip.
That's got to be what I did. So, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Aged Out Reacts with the two hosts of the Aged Out podcast, Mike Fantini and
Evan Worrell.
And today we're joined by a very well-known guy across the activity, Bill Bachman. What's up, dude? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you loud and proud. It's good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
No, thanks for hanging out with
us. Yeah, for sure. Kind of one of the glorious parts of technology and what I think it should be used for more often. We saw that Bill noticed one of the reaction videos we did recently, enjoyed it, kind of a throwback to his time in the activity, and I was like, dude, we'd love to have you on. So we're super gracious for you to take the time to join us, man.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So today we are reacting to a video from when Bill was marching of the 94 cadets, and then we will be reacting to a Santa Clara Vanguard 2014 video as more to get his opinion and reactions to more of a modern day, modern era drumline. And also, you went to UNT where Rennick runs the program, so you know Rennick and stuff, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes perfect sense to hop into a Vanguard video we haven't done before. And then there's a little treat at the end that I won't spoil. We'll just let it kind of happen for those that stick around for the whole video. So before we get into this, make sure you subscribe, like, comment on the video. All that stuff helps the algorithm. Check out the podcast on podcast services, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, all that good stuff. Facebook, Instagram, never miss an update. So let's just get into this 94 Cadets video. Got a close-up view, as you can see now. That's actually Bill right there on the end, staring right at his hands in that blurry 94 video quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the previous one, you were kind of cut off for a lot of the video. Now you're getting the money shot here.
No, you saw a lug of my drum 4, so I was in there.
All right, let's jump in. Well, that's a way to start a video.
Well, right away. Tag singles.
God, I always forget how high the cadets wore their drums back then. This guy on the... I gotta point this out. This dude on the end's right hand is at his nipple.
Yeah, it was way more important than for the uniformity thing, apparently. I mean, that's his name's Christian, and I think he became a Navy SEAL. He's just one.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's a tough little dude. He's awesome. I love that guy. But yeah, his right forearm actually went uphill. I don't know how he didn't get tendonitis playing at a doggy paw all summer.
It's crazy because you guys just ripped that opening segment right out of the gate of this video. In today's maybe lock culture, people would have just been like screaming and throwing babies like crazy, but it's just like, oh, release.
Yeah, it's weird because you get so used to it because you just live it and breathe it. You lose all perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, this is before there were tons of cameras, but when there was a camera, it's like, oh crap, it's a camera. And I actually remember this dude kind of being in my bubble, and I'm under enough pressure as is. And so there's this camera like almost over my drum 3. So just make me a little more nervous. I appreciate it. But now I'm playing.
I'm assuming this was finals too, right? I mean, 8:20. That's pretty late in the year.
Yeah, it's hard to say what night that is. But yeah, it used to be a longer season, more of a beatdown. So okay, that solo, it starts out with just one day our tech came out. And he said, hey, guys, we got another solo at it. And he shows us this sheet music, and Unks wrote 6 bars, sextuplets on drum 2. And I was like, all right, here we go. And so it just started, okay, just singles. And it was supposed to be, and then the next thing happened, but I would get confused because, we're just learning this thing by rote on the fly. And so I kept on going between 1 and 2. And so Mike's like, oh, that's it. We'll stick with that.
So that was basically a moment where he was like, fill this space, guys.
Yeah, so the whole thing just started with the quad. And it was really, like you said, it's full exposure. Like you can't screw around on that. You got to just come in and go nuts.
Yeah. No risk, no reward.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, let's push forward a little bit here. That instant cadets.
I missed
sticks.
the sticks in,
I was getting ready to say the sticks in, man.
You hear the Octagon style Spock. Back in their 8 inch deep.
It's like the 8
That sound like a 5-lit.
tapped in.
2, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da.
Those flams in there were clean. Just casual.
right.
No big deal. Just casual.
Pause it real quick, Mike. So I feel like not many people play tons of floppies that fast anymore. Like they'll play some hand-to-hand flam stuff, but to just go in and I love that stuff. It reminds me just of like old shopping sprees and stuff like that I would learn. And I wish flam vocabulary was inserted more regularly.
Yeah, it does seem like those hybrid rudiments, like people still play flam drags and flam fives, but there's some really weird ones that just really aren't written anymore.
I think we talked about this previously. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Bill.
I said that'll never be broke. It's just hand-to-hand flams. Just the fundamentals never change. And when I go watch modern lines, you can watch them on YouTube and think, oh my gosh, everything's just way better than it's ever been and whatnot. But then you see them live, and it's like, same mistakes, same fundamentals. So at some point, nothing has changed.
I think too, there's something to admire about, like, there's instances in the show where the snares are just playing crazy fast rolls, and as a viewer and a fan of the activity, that is something that's easy to digest, but also equally easy to understand how hard it is. Sometimes people these days will play things that are challenging, but it's almost so nuanced and like kind of funky and over the bar line and jacked up rhythms. You're like, I'm not even really sure what that was.
I watch lines all the time.
There's an appreciation.
Lines play stuff all the time.
There's an appreciation of that.
Yeah.
I've had some students bring in stuff where they've got, they're learning some chorus music, and they got brackets within brackets, and I look at it, I'm like, oh crap. Well, it starts on, beat 2, and I have to go to the end of the bar and count backwards. It's like, okay, it ends on the end of 3, so we gotta, it's really nutty the way the vocabulary is gone. So that's great. But like you say, it's also great with just, hey, this is just boom, just straight up nailing it.
For sure.
In your face. Yep.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know we got to get back to the action here, but like quads in general, we tend to play different than snares in that there's just more sort of a molar, looser flow. Just the side to side from drum to drum lends itself to also the actual whippingness, and so that's where like hand to hand flams and all kinds of those tons of hard flam rudiments aren't hard at all if you know how to whip stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, educator hat off. Go ahead.
That was a very dense blended roll. And
you get like
hold
one
on,
whoop.
I gotta say this. What's
Give it
more
up, guys.
impressive about this is the angle the camera's recording from. He's like from the side of the quad line, and it's still blended and balanced between the snares to quads. Like
not
usually,
your optimal listening environment, but
the fact that it sounds good like that is just speaks volumes to the quality of this line.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, if you go big, quads can be pretty darn loud, so we put out a lot of sound.
Mm-hmm. What's only
and are you guys playing with the mallets there? The plastic mallets?
Yeah, the old gold ones.
Yeah. Dude, people don't use that stuff as much anymore.
Not really, no. A lot of quad lines will use a snare stick.
Yeah, you can't hit rim shots on 1 and 2 mainly, and you get that clicky sound. They're easier to maneuver with because they're shorter. That's kind of one of the things I did with my Billy Club stick. Is it's on the shorter end, so you can move around really, really fast with it. It's the idea.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Little walking bass line.
Dude, the swing.
That roll.
Boom, ba-da-boom. Dude, I love that. So tasty.
I feel like bass lines nowadays would have filled that whole phrase with all kinds of lasers and splits.
6,
Yeah.
7, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's go.
Getting tuned up. Oh, you're getting your gog blocks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that time. Ready for work, so they are. We always hated these things. I mean, as if quads aren't heavy enough, let's add some more crap way out there and on the right side, so...
You gotta reach super far and make it more unbalanced.
Uh-huh.
One more time. 1, 2,
We'll probably maybe talk about this a little bit more later too, but were you guys, as quad drummers, did you feel like you got gypped from playing drum set in this show?
No. We kind of didn't do a rip. That year, Unks actually called us the Monster Squad, and we had 2 solos, and yeah, we did not miss any drum set stuff. We were busy. I mean, honestly, we felt like we were kind of the tip of the spear of quad drumming. We felt, and people told us that all the time. It's like, you guys are the line this year. And I don't mean to sound, but it's just one of those things where it just added a ton of pressure because a lot of people were paying attention to the stuff we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they said it, not you.
Yeah, right.
It was an honor to be there. I was just sort of hanging on for dear life a lot of the time. You know how it is, first year in a big corps like that.
First summer,
Yeah.
It's scary.
Try not to die.
First
And then I got
summer
this
through the
camper
fire.
dude right in my bubble here. I'm already freaked out enough.
Imagine the rebound off that jam block was not super great.
Yeah, I had to bustle it all out. Uh-oh.
Woo! It's tap
That was
roll.
dope.
Hear that music.
Uh-huh.
West Side Story.
It's cool because musically, all this is just would be a drum set player just chugging along on an ostinato. And,
Yeah.
And Unks really made that work. There's not a lot of show stuff here. It's just all sort of. But oh my gosh, that stuff is easy to tick. Just 16 notes. Oh, it's easy. Like now, 16
Real easy to
notes.
fall out of, too.
Yeah,
I always,
exactly.
I always found it way harder to when you have simple stuff like that, like you're just saying, when you have to play something simple, there's a lot more space and room for error. Like with the denser phrases, it was kind of just like run and gun, just go. There wasn't time to overthink anything.
Yeah.
There wasn't time to adjust mid phrase. So I always found it way harder to do stuff like this than ever the real dense features and all that stuff.
Yeah, I always say there's more space in which to screw up.
Yep.
We were playing some Ram at North Texas years later, and we were showing Paul, and we were close, but then he said, just speed it up. And so sure enough, boom, there it was.
Yep. Don't give them the opportunity to overthink it.
Yep.
Do those tasty buzzes.
Yeah. They're really balanced too. Like player to player, the style, everything's they're nails.
You guys, as a quad line, you guys did beat the hell out of those drums.
And quad heads were always, I don't know if it was like that then, but when I marched, they always just were way less durable. I felt like they were changing heads constantly.
Yeah, there was a phase there, but yeah, they fixed it up.
All right, so now we just got the old school. Now we're going to do some modern Rennick stuff again. 2015, excuse me. The last video we did was 2014. 15 Vanguard finals. So we'll see what Rennick was up to this year. We might not watch this whole one. We'll watch till a nice stopping point presents itself.
Sure.
Get Bill's take on some new school.
Uh-huh.
Okay, pause right there, if you don't mind.
Sure.
See, I've seen this in a handful of Rennick lines where the bass line and the snares are so tight that you forget that it's a different section. It's like suddenly they added pitch to the snare's note. I mean, it's just so in the pocket.
Uh-huh. That's a good point. I don't want to say this is like a downplaying of Rennick's bass lines, but maybe that's why I rarely notice his bass lines unless it's a feature. Just because they're so blended together as a sound, It's just kind of... We're going to go with that, and we're not going to admit how much of a snare head I am that I don't pay attention to anything else.
All good.
I now have an excuse. Perfect. Just so fluid, all of it. I feel like there's zero tension in any of those five guys' hands, arms, wrists, fingers.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's pause real quick.
Yeah.
Every time I watch Vanguard's quad line, I'm not sure if it's like a cart before the horse type thing or whatever, but they always move so fluidly that I'm like, is it because it's a product of the arounds, or is it a product of the technique? Is it a blend of both? And I know Paul talked a little bit about that when we did the one with him, because he marched under Rennick. And, well, Bill did too, but under different eras. But I was just watching, I'm like, man, did they just like be like, this doesn't work, we're going to change it? Or is it like Paul just being like, nah, this is what it is, and this is we're just going to figure out how to do it as efficiently as possible? But
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I mean, if you watch them, there's never a drum 3 to drum 4 in that. So that's where, no matter how relaxed you are, if you're going, in the blink of an eye from one side to the next, that can't be smooth. It has to be an incredibly aggressive motion. Mm-hmm. But the arounds, everything's smooth the way it's voiced, just the logistics of the hands. And then it's all about sound quality and flow. So, I mean, I look at it as the best player is going to do the minimum amount of work. They're only going to interact with the stick only as much as necessary to achieve what they're trying to do and get the sound. Because any extra influence from me is just potential error versus nature, which is going to be perfect and constant. Letting physics and the stick do the work, so to speak. And they nail that. The balance is incredible from the whole line.
I love that. Crescendo. Dude, those dynamics and the bass drums are... Whew. Last time.
Their rolls are just always so open. They're just so open.
Dude, I think one of the most impressive things, go back real quick. Pause and go back. One thing I find that his ensembles do so well is like the layering of re-entrances. Yep. So for instance, at the end of that like snare bass phrase, when like the quads just seamlessly add in. There was another great one from 2010. If you're listening to that ensemble, there's that big drum break. They're doing those like fivelet stuff, and at the end of it, the timpani player's just like, and he just like adds in like that syncopated rhythm on top of the end of it. I'm just like, all right, good for you, bro. But Those sections just layer in, man.
Yeah, definitely. There's a ton of quad voicing wise. I don't think a lot of people think about this, but drum 4 is the loudest one. And if you play Spock unison with snares, you're pretty much not going to be heard. And so the voicing will sneak in from Spock and sort of gradually enter down the real drums. And so never mind just the dynamic control everybody has. Just you're right, the voicing and layering, the way it adds in. It's good.
Down the real drums. I'm gonna keep that one in my back pocket.
Yeah, the Spock is a toy.
It's fake. It's not real. It's in your imagination.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
Chicka.
Looks like they went to Master for some power. Oops, did I just say that? I gotta razz snares whenever I can.
That's part of the gig.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's probably less power, really, in reality, doing that.
Yeah, it's true. Okay.
Go ahead.
Did you hear that?
No,
Did you
you're
hear
good.
that whistle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul has the gift of that whistle, and you always hear it. That frequency cuts above everything, and it's a blessing that only he seems to have.
He can just do it on command too. Like when I try to whistle, it's first of all never that loud, and sometimes I'm just like can produce no sound. So
yeah, man. There's one day at a break at North Texas, and we were all throwing rocks at this aluminum light pole that was, I don't know, 30 feet away or something, and we were all just throwing and throwing and throwing. It's just missing, can't do it. Paul walks over, picks up a rock. Ding! All right, scrap, let's go. And we're like, crap. That's fun.
All right. If they play the same phrase again, I'm gonna fast forward through it to a different part.
Oh, that's cool.
like using the metric density, it like speeds up as the phrase builds.
Yep.
Oof, so buttery.
Oh, those guys will kill you. Watch out.
The symbol line?
Oh, yeah. Love those guys.
They were all jacked this year. Good lord.
Yeah.
I love fast low singles like
those
that out of
singles
nowhere.
on the
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to hear that again real quick.
with texture. He has some of the
Sneaks 'em in there.
nasty pocket parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time you go through this stuff, you find more little hidden gems of, oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
For sure.
what would have been a massive feature with just sort of slid in there under the radar.
Dude, that bass fire behind that snare thing was so tasty. 4 over
I was
3
gonna
for
say
days.
4 over 3s into the 8th note roll. The speed change is nice.
It's so good.
Ugh.
Dude, I like you were talking about a little bit before we started this. Just it seems like years of late, he's just been like, you know what? I'm not gonna allow anyone to say that we're not playing enough stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it musical, but we're gonna come at you.
Man, that's single 7 on Spock. All right, so you notice Paul's writing.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be like quad chief, but if there's an impact that's unison with the snares, it's going to be on 1 or 4. Those are sort of the tonic kind of drums. But the Spocker is always popping out in a window. Because like I said, if you play Spock unison with snares, you pretty much don't hear it. And he's just totally tapped into that.
Yeah.
That's
every
one of the
time you
many
hear
things I
those,
took away from time with Paul.
makes total sense. Especially like you talking about drum 4 speaking the loudest, like just giving that punch. It's like, well, I'm not gonna waste that on a exposed moment.
Yeah. And the
So-
tuning is they're actual tenors. I mean, most of them are sopranos and snares are sopraninos, just ridiculous. But yeah,
I find that a lot of snare tuning these days are getting a lot lower than my preferred pitch.
Yeah,
But-
they're getting too low in my opinion in some cases, but we can dive into that in the podcast more if we want to. So let's
hey, one more thing. It's fun watching this line. I've had a couple or 3 kids in Vanguard lines recently. The kid on the end is a young Josh Herner.
this guy,
So yeah,
quad player.
and yeah, quad player. Yeah, when I moved to Texas, he was going to Plano High School, and I was just getting like badgered by this guy for lessons. And so he was in my garage just sweating it out. And our first lesson was do 10,000 free strokes, absolutely perfect, just building the mechanic from scratch. And he came back and he said, Mr. Bachman, I did 9,300 and like he worked out the math of the hours to tempo ratio.
That's
And now-
dedication right there.
Yeah, and now he has 4 Fred Sanfords and 1 into Vids his age out, so he did all right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Hear that, kids?
Pays
Put in the
off.
work. It pays off.
That's right.
The
Fundamentals,
details.
man.
Yep.
Fundamentals. Oh my gosh, I could go on about
That's a
fundamentals.
good
for hours,
segue
but-
into a potential future project of Evan and I's for this channel, but we'll reveal that at a later date once we have the kinks worked out. So let's go on to that little tidbit we were talking about for those that stuck around. So we mentioned Bill went to UNT in the mid 90s when he was
Yeah,
marching
it
and
is.
stuff. And so in 96 they had a quad feature in their indoor show for PASIC that was, well, we'll just kind of let it speak for itself here in a second.
I told Bill before we started this that back when MySpace was the end all be all of social media, those were the glory days. But you could embed videos on your profile, and this is one of the videos. This exact video was one that I had embedded on my face or on my MySpace.
Cool.
So iconic.
All right, let's be prepare to be blown away. Jesus. Boom, ka-doom.
Pause.
That's good.
So the inception of this, like, how did this monster of a thing come about?
With 94 cadets and this line, I was kind of in the right place at the right time. So in this battery, there were 37 years of DCI experience. And it was age out's paradise. So there was always just this break at the end, and it could be as long as you just had, go nuts. And so it starts out, that first scrape lick is actually right out of Quad Logic. It's the Diddles for Decades start of it. And then, I could go like piece by piece of how it went together, but yeah, this is a rehearsal the morning of PASIC. It's like 7 a.m. or something.
Jeez.
Cranking.
Was
that
this
out
a
at
thing
7
too,
a.m.
where Paul was just like, all right, you guys like go in a room, like you have this amount of time, this is the tempo, like let's see what you got. Are you there, Bill?
Yeah, we got Skyped, right?
Yeah, we did.
We got
All right, we're
Skype. I was saying, was this like an instance where Paul was like, all right, you guys have this amount of time, this many measures, this is the tempo, like go in a room, see what you can put together type thing, or what?
Yeah. I mean, the Center 3 had marched under Paul for like 3 or 4 years. And like, yeah, just, go write a break, go do your thing. And so we just went completely nuts. I don't know if you caught this before, nuts. But thank you. The first part is Diddles for Decades, right out of Quad Logic, the scrape jam. And then it just goes from thing to thing. And it was definitely, we can't pretend it was easy. It was one of those like, wow, we made it through again. Every time we played that thing, it was a beast.
We made it.
Did you tick? No. Did I tick? No. All right. Good show.
What's funny? Hey, Ungst was actually judging at PASIC 96. And he was sort of on the other side of the stage with her. And so, go. And we pointed at the end of it. I actually turned way out to the side. And I was like, pointing right at Ungst, like, eat it. Take that.
He's probably loving it.
Oh, yeah, I know he was. Yeah, he's awesome.
Let's close this video out by enjoying one more rep of that. It looks like it's fast-forwarded. Good Lord.
It's also hilarious that the thing that happens right before that is like the pit members doing like a Macarena bit, and then they like shoot themselves in the head.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh, that's hilarious.
All right. Let's close this sucker out. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bill, thanks for joining us. We will get together soon and record that podcast. Yes, we're going to do a podcast with Bill, too, in the near future. Be on the lookout for that on all of our things we mentioned earlier, podcast services, YouTube, the whole bit.
Social media.
Let me double check the Vanguard video today. Credit DrumCorpsTube. Go check out DrumCorpsTube's channel. Great high quality drum corps video channel. And then I think we've used an R-Base 311 video before for our older ones for the Cadets video.
Yeah, he runs the drum corps coffee shop Facebook group. So go join that too.
Awesome. And then the UNT video I think was actually Bill's video, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, it is.
Yeah, so
that's right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.
Keep up the good work, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Bye.